Hi, this is Prophet Montgomery Garnett. I'll be doing a series of videos in these last days concerning certain events that are going to happen in certain places. I'll also be explaining certain things that are happening in certain parts of the world. God has commissioned me to do this, and He has instructed and commanded me to do these things. Now, these last days are not anything that you should be afraid of. Just know that it is just God's plan for man. Myself and several other prophets will be working along with many governments and many governmental agencies involving some of the things that will be happening in the world, not just here in the United States. So, it's definitely something to be aware that these things are going to happen. This is just a blessing that God has given to this nation to take the position that they're going to take during these last days when many of these events are going to happen. Some of these things are going to happen in other countries. They're not all going to be catastrophic, but many of them are going to be interesting and they're going to defy explanation. So it'll be the prophet's responsibility to use the Bible as an example to show people how these incidents reference things that occurred in the Bible and how really it's nothing for man to be afraid of, but it's just biblical prophecies being fulfilled or events mirroring events that happened in the Bible, and just to lead the people in the direction that they not be afraid. Now, the Bible, this is not an effort to preach. The Bible said God did not give us the spirit of fear, but of love and of power and a sound mind. But in order for you not to have fear, you have to be properly informed, and certain things have to be properly explained. And so, it will be the responsibility of the prophets to explain these things. I will be working with a group of prophets out of Los Angeles, and the name of the group of the prophets that we will be working with will be called Crisis Center West. God has given me instructions to name this group of prophets Crisis Center West. We'll be dealing with different crises in different parts of the world. Catastrophic, can be earthquakes, can be just different events. I don't want to name things that we're accustomed to seeing happen, and then when we see something that we don't understand, then we don't know what to name it. So there'll be some interesting things happening, though, and I think it's my responsibility. God has given me the responsibility to make sure these things are properly explained so that people don't go off with a bunch of theories and false explanations as to what has actually transpired. We've got enough problems now with people talking about rumors and this happened and this didn't happen, and so we are full of enough of that. And so when the biblical prophecy is being fulfilled, whether it's those prophecies that were prophesied by Christ or any of the other prophecies or prophets in the Bible, then we'll get an explanation from the prophets as to exactly what this is and how to deal with it. Now, it doesn't mean that everything will be perfect. It doesn't mean that everything will be clear, but we will give you whatever information we receive, and that is basically the responsibility of the prophets. There are many good things that are going to happen in these last days, so it's not just bad things that will be happening, and so we must understand that some may not require explanation. These last days are going to be days of enormous blessings, greater than the blessings that we've seen before. And so it's important that we understand that also. The prophecies of Christ talks about wars, rumors of wars, and things of that nature. Well, that's nothing new. We had those things for a long time, and we'll continue to have those and probably more of those. And so we'll see how those things transpire in these last days. Now, there are other things that are going to be going on in different parts of the world that we need to pay careful attention to, and I will list some of these. These things are not necessarily important to everyone or in everyone in foreign countries, but they're important to know. There'll be an increase in flooding in different parts of the world. There's already been a lot of flooding in many different areas, but that will increase even more. There'll be more rainfall in different parts of the world. There'll be rainfall in areas where there are no rainfalls. And if you know anything about rainfall, whenever it starts to fall in an area that it's never fallen in quite some time, I should say, there is rapid runoff. The ground doesn't soak up the water properly, and therefore, we have to be able to make sure that people are aware that there may be rain falling in areas that they don't fall in, and when that happens, the runoff can be dangerous. It can take lives, so it'll be the responsibility of prophets to inform people that, hey, be careful in these areas, and what areas to stay away from. Um, there are probably some toxins in the ground from things that man has buried over the years, whether it was during times of conflict where he had to manufacture certain things at a large rate and they didn't know where to place or how to chemically neutralize the toxins. And so they buried them in the ground. And in some instances, you'll find the rainfall bringing these toxins to the surface. And they can be dangerous to wildlife and even to some humans. So we'll have situations like those. We'll also have situations where there will be a large-scale loss of life of animals. We've been having that over the past couple years. It's been highlighted on YouTube, etc. A large number of wildlife dying at one time. We'll have an increase in that. Not necessarily that there's anything wrong with that or there's something wrong. Sometimes there are just things that happen. And so that will have to be properly explained. The prophets receive information from God's Spirit, so we can tell people how these things happen so that they're not afraid, Let me give you an example. There can be shock waves that can occur from solar flares in the Earth's atmosphere, and certain shockwave frequencies can be detrimental to certain animals as well as humans, and they can kill them. And so therefore, when those things happen, those need to be properly explained rather than having people be afraid that this thing came from some disease that might be spreading, and they spread rumors. So there are many things that can happen, but just to let you know that Crisis Center West and some of the other prophets that will be commissioned to be a part of Crisis Center West will be able to listen to what God's answer is to our prayers, and will relay that message to the people. There will be great blessings flowing in these last days also. I'm not just going to give you a gloom and doom situation. Knowledge will abound. There'll be great inventions that have never been around before, that are going to be very interesting and very complicated. People sometimes won't even be able to understand how this thing works this way, but it does. And so it's going to be an interesting time in the earth, but it's not all going to be a gloom and doom and prophets of doom type of situation. So, but thank you for allowing me to share these things with you, and at the appointed time, we'll upload some more videos to YouTube or whatever channels we need to get this information to, and we'll be able to be a blessing to as many people as God allows us to. Thank you. God bless you.